Hello, this is the video instructions for the matching game. This video is somewhat repetitive with the other instructions that you will get with each of the games. But again, I want to make sure and be thorough with each set of instructions. So I apologize if there are things that I have already said in other videos. If you have any problems or issues, feel free to reach out. My email address is listed here on the screen. So let's just dive right in. This one's actually pretty simple. This is for the matching game. Now I know that a matching game, and really what I'm talking about is that old school game that we used to play where you flip over cards and you make matches. And it seems a bit elementary, but my students loved it, so I wanted to include it. Because it was always something that they didn't mind doing. And I guess compared to other work that they sometimes have to do, it's probably not a bad activity for them to do. So anyway, just I wanted to include that. Now, here's what I also will say. The heads up game is going to look extremely similar because all we're really doing is just printing the terms and printing the definitions. And it looks almost exactly the same as the heads up game. In fact, the Bear document is basically the same exact thing. So if you want to print one set of cards and use them for both your heads up and your matching game, you can do that. So when you get your download, it should look something like this. All the games are in separate folders, and then these files here below are going to be used to make these work, basically. So the way this works really is just a Microsoft template that I have set up, and I use a program through Microsoft Word called MailMerge, and MailMerge basically is a concept where Microsoft Word pulls information from an Excel spreadsheet that you've created. And what's great about that is that it's super interchangeable, meaning that when you switch units and different chapters of different terms, all you need to do is just tell it where those terms are and it will automatically pull them in and you're ready to print. You literally can, once you get the hang of it, can pull those terms in and have them printed in 5-10 minutes. And that's what I love about this, that you can create them super fast and have some really fun games for your students to play. So the Excel spreadsheet you'll be using for this game is the one that's called Vertical. I had to change the way that the information is plugged into Excel for the different games, but this one you're just going to be using the Vertical one. But I've also included something called the master list, which will open up and I'll show you first, because this is actually what you need to do before even opening up anything else, is that you need to get your Excel spreadsheet ready to go. Now, the first time you open any of the files, more than likely your computer will have a little warning across the screen saying that, that this is a read-only file, click here if you want to edit it or something like that. You need to go ahead and say, yes, I need this document to be edited. Once you do it one time, you shouldn't have to do it anymore. And some don't do that at all, so it just kind of depends. But once you've got it all pulled up, there is this one here called Master List. Now, this is completely optional. But when I taught, I liked to have all of my terms for every single chapter that I taught in one big document. And I separated them by tabs down here. If you notice, I've got tabs already set up, ready to go all through 12 different units. If you need more, you can add more just by clicking here. Now, yours is not going to have obviously terms in there. Yours is going to look like this. They're just going to be blank space holders, and you'll type in your terms here. I've just done 2 of them for right now, just so we can see what it looks like to pull them into the Microsoft templates that we have. So if you want to do this, it actually will end up saving you time. So at the beginning of the semester, type them all in, save it as your master list, and you're ready to go. So we're actually going to go back though and pull up this Vertical formatted terms and definitions Excel spreadsheet. And you've got a few options of what to do once you've got it pulled up. My computer's being very slow today. All right, so it's still not pulled up. There it is. All right, so terms and definitions Vertical. This is what you're actually going to fill out in order to tell Microsoft Word what terms you want to be using. Now, you could simply just click and type. And just type through. You don't have to use that master list. But if you already have your master list done, here's one really cool thing that you can do. So go back to your terms and definitions, pick which chapter you want to be doing, grab those terms. Don't grab the top row. You're just going to grab the terms and either right click and go to copy, or you can just press Control C. That does the same thing if you're on a PC. And then we're going to click over to our terms and definitions. I'm going to select that same little grouping and either hit Control V or right click and go to that first paste selection, and it'll paste them in. And that's it. You're done. You're ready to go and import in your terms. So that's why I say using that master list will save you a little extra time if you can just sit down and kind of knock it out at the beginning of the semester. Now I'm going to save this as a separate document because I like to have my terms and definitions vertical file just to stay clean and stay almost like a template for myself, but you don't have to. You could save it as that. It's just that I think it makes it a lot easier. So I'm just going to throw it on the desktop just so I can get to it quickly. I'm going to call this Unit 1 Matching Terms. All right, so I've got that saved, ready to go. You can exit out or you can keep it up. It doesn't matter. Microsoft Word doesn't seem to really care. So when you go and you're ready to pull in your terms, go into your matching folder, and you've got 3 documents. You've got one that you're going to print the definitions on, one that you're going to print the terms on. Now this is the logo that I made. You don't have to do this, but if you want your cards to have a little logo on the back side of it, just so, oh, this should not say this, but I'll fix this in a minute, but we're just going to say yes and move on. It's just some little picture that you can pull up and this does not need a data source. I don't know why this is doing this, but that's okay. We'll let it pretend that it does. This should not do this, by the way. When you pull this up, I'll fix this, but when you pull this up, it's just going to be a document with the terms on there. I think I accidentally told Microsoft Word to say that it had data in it, and it does not. All right, so this is what it's going to end up looking like. I apologize. I will correct that before I publish it, but it's just, I just made this little logo thing that you can put, once you print your cards out, you can flip it and reprint these, and they'll have just like little cute thing on the front, but it's not necessary at all. Now, as far as what to print them on, you could, cardstock works really well, and you just cut out your cards once they're done printing, and they even have guidelines. I made sure and made the lines dark so you know where to cut. And when you see in a moment the terms that you're going to be printing are on this exact same template, like the squares will all match up and everything nicely. But if you want a really major shortcut, I'm going to show you what to do. This is what you can actually print on. This is set up to print at a 2 by 3.5 rectangle, and it would fit these particular business cards perfectly. And what I love about these business cards is that you print them and then you just like fold them and they like pop out. They're so easy. There's no cutting necessary at all, and I love these cards. I use them for a lot of things, and they're just a good size, especially for like a matching game. They're just a really, really good size. So I just went and found them on Amazon. You don't even have to buy the Avery brand. As long as it is a 2 by 3.5, that's all you need to know. You can even get 1,000 cards for $41, which is more than enough that you'll need. Even if you do every single chapter with this, you should be fine. Again, depending on your class size and depending on how you have them play the game. But anyway, what's really good though about this game is that the cards are reusable. So you can use them year after year as long as they stay kind of in decent shape or whatever. But you don't have to. You could just print these on cardstock. I would definitely suggest at least cardstock because it is easier to just like flip them over and stuff. But as far as printing this, totally up to you. I'm a little extra when it comes to stuff like that, so I like to have it like this. So, but let's go ahead and get those terms pulled in. So we'll start with the one that says definitions. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be doing the exact same process for both the front and back. Now, the first time you open this document, it's going to kind of freak out because it's looking for the Excel spreadsheet that I have made, and obviously I'm not on your computer, so it's going to kind of force you to go and find the data source. It actually will probably say something like that down here. It'll say find data source or something like that, and you're going to click yes that you want to find the data source, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So again, see, it says select data source. It's going to force you to find it. Remember, we just saved that. I threw it on my desktop. And there it is right there, matching terms. And then it'll finally pull up your document, and there it is. It's going to look a little different. I have changed the fonts because I'm going to be changing the fonts because it doesn't recognize this font. So it'll look slightly different, but the concept is basically the same. So you're going to go to mailings, and if it forced you, or excuse me, we already found our thing, but let's say that it got you here and you may have picked the wrong list, or you never had you pick the list. You can get around it by just going to select recipients, use an existing list. Again, you don't need to do this if you found the list that you're going to use, and then go and find that list. There it is, matching terms. I actually did it now twice, which was completely unnecessary, but that's okay. All right, so obviously this is not your terms. So in order to see your terms, you're going to need to hit preview results, and there they are. Now, unfortunately, I use 25 terms, and so there are 10 things on each sheet, so I do end up wasting a few each time. You could, if you have more than 25 terms, it's not going to recognize that because I don't have filler here. Like there's nothing here to tell it to pull that in, but you could always type that in if you wanted to. If you have less than 25 terms, let's say you only have 20, these will just be blank, and you don't even have to worry about printing those. So that's just sort of the quick and easy way around that. Now, if you want to print this, it's ready to print. Just keep it in preview, go file, print them out, however you want to do it. However, if you want to save this document, go to edit individual documents. I just click on current record, and it will turn it into a new document, and then you can save that as whatever. So let's just do it so you can see it super fast, because what's cool about this is that the next time I go to pull this up, it's not going to ask me to find the data source. Like, it is now a saved filled document. Like it, and if you need to print some later because maybe like some got messed up or you just need more of them, you wouldn't have to go through that process of finding that data sheet and all that kind of stuff again. So I'm just going to call this one Unit 1 Matching. I think these are the definition. I don't know what I'm doing. Definition cards. Here we go. All right, now watch this. This is kind of cool. So I'm going to exit out. I'm going to go and find that really quickly. Go to the desktop. And there it is, matching definition cards. Now watch what happens when I pull it up this time. So now when I pull it up, see, it doesn't ask me to go and find the resource. It doesn't ask me to go find that Excel spreadsheet because it's already done it and like saved it, done, ready to go. And again, that's a complete option. You don't have to. This is the one that is still in that mode where I can switch it back and forth. So same exact process for doing your terms. So matching cards with terms. I'm going to pull that up. Again, it's going to be like, where is your data you want to pull from? I've already pulled it once before, so now mine says, do you want to pull from the same place? And I'm going to say yes, but I think it's going to force me anyway. Yeah, it's going to force me to go find that, which is fine. So I'm going to go back to the desktop. I'm going to use that exact same Unit 1 matching terms. And let me go back to preview. There we go. There they all are. Again, The font's going to look a little different because I've had to change the font, but other than that, that's pretty much it, and there they all are. And so the way this game is played, it's self-explanatory. I did not make instructions for this one, but you're just going to have them put all the cards together, mix them up, and the match is they're just flipping them over, and when they find Gaster and then they find Stomach, they're going to be able to pull that match and claim it for themselves. You can do this in teams of 2, teams of 3, teams of 4. I wouldn't suggest any larger than 4, and the person that ends up with the most matches is the winner. It's just like the other ones. Now, let's say really quickly we want to do unit 2, and you want to have another one. So let me exit out of this and then go and open up our vertical form again. If I wanted to do my second chapter or my unit 2 chapter, I'm going to do the exact same process, but I'm going to click on unit 2. I'm going to drag all these, Control C, or right click, go to my vertical list, Control V, or right click and paste, File, Save As. This time I'm going to save it as the exact same thing, but I'm going to change the word to unit 2. So unit 2 matching terms. Oh, well, that didn't work. There we go. Save. Done. Go back into both of those documents. Here's the one with definitions, but this time I'm going to go select recipients, use an existing list, go to my desktop, select my new list of unit 2 matching terms. It's going to look a little funny at the very beginning. Just hit OK, OK. But if oh, there it goes. Oops, there it is. And there's my new ones. And same thing for the other ones. Again, select recipients, use existing list. Let's go find it. I wish it would default to my desktop each time. Save me some time. Unit 2 matching terms, and OK, OK, and done. Oh, sorry, preview, and done. There they are. So there's my unit 2, and just print, and you're good to go. It's a very simple game, but it's very effective. It has them, really learn those terms, and my students have really enjoyed doing this, even though, like I said, it's a elementary type game. So that's all. And again, if you want to print these one time without anything on the back, you can add a little logo on the back if you want to. You can print them on cardstock. You can print them on those pre-done business cards. You can play in different groups. So there's a lot of variation to playing this game if you want. And you can actually use these cards for other things. I have actually used these exact cards for Pictionary. We've played Pictionary with these cards before. And then I've used them for the Heads Up game as well, even though you can print those completely separate as well. So there's a lot of really cool things to do with these cards, and just wanted a quick and easy way for you to be able to do that. If you have any questions, any problems, feel free to reach out, and I hope that your students enjoy this, and I hope that you have a fantastic year. Thanks.